Welcome to Discussions in the Afterlife. I'm Jim,
I'm Colleen.
and today Colleen here she's going to quote some common phrases.
And a few odd comments.
Yes, such as house guest comments, the common civility between those invisible people and us humans, and even comments on civil rights.
Yes, that is true. And I will begin with the house guests.
Okay.
So, I said to the house as I started a study, "You are the best house guest ever." And a man near the steps says, "She thinks we're house guests." And a man nearby says, "That's right, we're the best."
He'll take credit anywhere he can.
That's right. And then I ask if having group members around us is a benefit. And a lady near the step says, "A guest thing, it's got to be to visit you." So you have to be a guest? You have to be invited to be a guest?
So they have to be invited into your house by someone? Because we're not inviting.
No,
people.
I don't. I mean, I do announce that I'm doing a study.
Right.
But I didn't way back then.
Of course not. No, nobody does.
No. So that was odd. And then once I had said hello in a study, a man in the kitchen said, "You don't know the half of the stuff that we know."
And that's true. The people in the afterlife, they have the benefit of all the history. And we're not privy to that. We're not.
That's right. We come back here almost like erased, though we do. You ever get like that feeling of like, oh, I've been here before, deja vu.
Right.
So maybe we have little moments of like a thin veil that we can remember stuff that we're not really supposed to. So then I said hello to the house during a study, and a man at the glass door says, "Hi, Colleen." And a lady near the powder room says, "Hello, Colleen." And a man near the closet and also this a different man at the steps say, "Hello, Colleen." And a man on the landing says, "Hello, Aunt Colleen."
Well, in general, they're a very pleasant group of people. But who are you an aunt to?
No
Okay.
one that I know died in this life that was a nephew.
Right. So it must have been a past life thing.
Right, which would be really cool to find out who he is.
Yes, it would be interesting to find out who that nephew from a past life was.
Yeah, and then after I say hello, I typically say, "How's everybody doing?" And a lady near the fridge said, "Never finer." And a man near the fridge said, "We are good." This lady upstairs says, "We are fine." And a man near the closet says, "We are good." And a man on the step says, "Good, carry on."
And we have asked about this. It's the we part of these responses. We are good, we are fine. So here we have like these micro groups within the house. And like, for instance, they're sitting on the steps together and they nominate one person to be the spokesman.
Right, I guess it alleviates chatter so we can hear what their responses are.
Right.
And it's just so organized. And it wasn't always like that.
No, it wasn't. Years ago when we first started, if you remember back, we would always leave space for them to answer the questions that we asked. But when we would start the next question, often we would be stepping on those people's responses or comments.
Right, we'd only hear part of it, not knowing that we're stepping on it.
Yeah, we can't hear this in real time. So it's become much more organized because that almost never happens anymore.
No, and I think somebody's organizing the studies knowing how we're setting them up. There's food being served and alcohol, and yeah, it's so organized.
Yep, and they even know when we're going to begin speaking.
Without looking at me.
Right, because they're all behind you.
Right, or upstairs in a different room. So it's not as if they can see I'm about to begin to talk and they'll stop talking.
Right.
They just know.
Yeah. Well, it does make our lives a little easier listening to these audio files.
It does.
Yes,
it really does. Thank you. And then about a year ago when all the civil rights, George Floyd, all that upheaval was happening, just out of the blue, someone said, civil rights are crazy over here.
Meaning the afterlife.
Meaning the afterlife, yes. And so that led me to ask the question in the next study, could you explain civil rights in the afterlife? And a lady near the stove said, seems to be only member.
That's kind of sad.
Yeah. Yeah. And then a different lady near the fridge says, it's really important here.
Nice.
And a man in the music room said, in time, it was society causes big deal.
In time, it was society causes big deal. So society is changing.
Mm-hmm.
And this guy recognizes it as a big deal.
Right, and I think there's always been upheavals.
Right.
You know, all through mankind,
So yeah, we do get those curious comments, but we also just get a lot of plain civility. You know, they're just pleasant people for the most part. And you did all the quotes today, Colleen, because quite frankly, it's the same in Panama at the house down there. They're, you know, I say hello to that group, they say hello back. I ask how they're doing, and they respond with the we's. We are good. We are fine. The subgroups, and they all have a spokesman. So there you have it. What's important right now is somebody becomes the 101st subscriber, ladies and gentlemen. We've been sitting on 100 for a couple weeks now. We need 101. So you got to text your mom and say, Mom, you just simply have to do this. You have to subscribe. It doesn't cost anything.
no, and you could give us a thumbs up, and if you share it, we might get to 102.
Right. And feel free to leave a comment. If you have a question that we could ask the afterlife, we might be able to do that. Thanks very much, everybody. Take it easy.
Thanks.
Off it.